This video is sponsored by Fracture. It pains me to say it, but winter is coming. Insect photography season for 2022 is over. At least in the northern hemisphere and definitely in Sweden where I live. There are no live insects to be found outdoors anymore, or at least it's very hard to find them. But I think this can be a great opportunity to look back at the spring and the summer that has been, to look through all our photos that we took of insects and try to find the best ones and touch them up a bit and print them. Because that is a great transition into the long dark winter, to have some beautiful macro photos hanging on our walls in our dark apartments to brighten our day a bit and to remind us that soon insect season is here again. So this is exactly what I have done recently. In this video I want to walk you through this process, what to think about and how I thought about it, and yeah, that's the concept, I guess. Step 1. Make a short list of photos. I use Lightroom Classic as my main base to sort through and store and edit photos. You might be using something else, but the same principles apply. What I began by doing when I wanted to go through all my photos from this year was that I just pressed G in Lightroom to bring up Library View, and I just started looking back. I also started a new collection for the photos I want to pick for printing. You can also use the quick collection. Just make sure to right click on whatever collection you're using and set it as the target collection. Then when you browse through photos and you find a photo that you think is good or interesting, you simply press B in Lightroom and it will be added to your collection. And this is a very nice and simple way to quickly go through a big amount of photos and to pick some photos that you like. And when I do this, I tried to do it in several iterations. In the first iteration, I simply just browsed through all the photos, all the thousands of photos I've taken during the last 6 months or so. And I picked the ones that I like, that I get a good feeling in my stomach when I look at. And that turned out to be like 20 or so photos. And then when I had picked these, I do a second pass, and this is where I want to pick the photos to print. Step 2. Select what photos to print. And when you pick the ones you want to print, do not only pick your 3 favorite photos, also consider where will I put it, on what wall, how big do I want it to be. Will it look good in that room? Will it fit with that room? I mean, some insects might look a bit too scary or gnarly to fit in a living room, for example. Maybe that is something for your own studio or whatever. But really, don't skip that step to think about where it will hang and how it will be perceived by everyone who looks at it. That is an important step. Also make sure to check, is this photo sharp enough and big enough to actually print big? Some macro photos we crop a lot so that the final resolution isn't that good. So definitely zoom in on the photo and check the details. Are they good enough? Is the photo sharp enough to print big on a wall? Or if it's not sharp enough, maybe it can be a smaller print. This is also something that you really should consider before picking a photo for printing. I ended up with these 3 photos that I really like, and they represent some top moments from my past few months in macro photography. This first one here is just a simple photo of my family, and it's technically not a very good photo, but I still find it funny because it really represents what life is like with 2 small children. They are constantly fighting and up to no good, and still they really love each other, and I think it's a nice family photo. And this one I want to print a little bit smaller to keep on my desk or similar. Then I picked this stink bug photo that I took during my review of the AK diffuser. I really love how this photo turned out. I love the colors and the contrast with the black background, and I love how the whole insect is almost like glowing. so definitely a favorite of mine. And I think it will look pretty great on a wall, so I think I will have it here in the office, and I will print it in like a medium size. And finally, I have this Lego, how do you pronounce it? Lego figure that I really like as well.
Step 3. Prepare the photos for printing.
Okay, so you picked a few photos to print. Next step is to prepare these photos for printing by doing some light editing in Lightroom. First of all, I want to check that the sharpness is good and definitely increase the sharpness using the sharpness tool if possible. And while doing this, you want to keep track of the noise, because when you increase sharpness, often the noise goes up as well. So you want to find a balance there where the noise is at a manageable level, not too much, and the sharpness is good enough as well. I also made sure that the colors are really vivid without being overexposed. I like to use these color tools here in Lightroom to find the main color, for example the red color here on this Lego man, and to push it up a bit so that it is really strong. You don't want to make it look unnatural. You want to make it look as it looks in real life, as you perceive the Lego man when you look at it. Take care to crop the photo well. Think what aspect ratio do you think fits that photo. In my case, actually all three of these photos I think look great as a square, and I love square photos for whatever reason, so I decided to make all three of them squares.
Step 4. Exporting the photos.
Now we have good edits of our three photos. Time to export, and this is an important step. I want to include it. You want to, of course, have the maximum quality available. Most services where you print photos accept JPEGs, and I think it's a good format to export in. I use a setting that I call 15 megabyte JPEGs, which basically exports the photo as it is in sRGB color space as a JPEG, only limited by the file size, and I limit it to 15 megabytes, which should definitely be more than enough for any photo that you can imagine, unless it is like 500 megapixels or something. And then also I let it apply a little bit of final sharpening on the photo as I export. And then I have the final photos, and before uploading them to any printing service, you always want to double check by looking at the actual JPEG file that it looks as you want it to, that the colors look good, and that everything looks good about the photo.
Step 5. Picking a printing service.
And finally, it is time for the most fun part of this whole process, which is the actual printing of the photos. And I chose a service called Fracture. It's an American company that prints on glass. Basically, they have these big, nice glass panes, and they print the photo on the back side of these planes and then attach some cardboard foamish material on the back side to make a very beautiful, very glossy, nice print. Actually, you don't need to pick glossy, you can also pick a matte print if you want to. I chose glossy because I think that that looks best in our apartment, which is pretty dark in the winter, so I want the maximum shine possible on my prints. Fracture is the sponsor of this video, but of course I have vetted them before letting them on as a sponsor. I would never bring on a sponsor whose products I would not be able to recommend, or whose products are not reasonably priced. I really think you get a lot of value for money from Fracture. Beautiful prints, as you will see in a moment. Also, they have lifetime warranty. They have a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. So if you wouldn't be completely happy with your prints within 60 days, you can return them. And also they have great support. If something is wrong or you need help with something, I have tested their support and it seems great. So let's look at the prints, shall we? We begin with the smallest one, my family portrait. I really love how it came out. And they are shipped with this nice packing foam here to make them arrive in one piece. And thankfully they did. Let's look at the second photo of the stink bug. And here it is. I am so happy with this. I'm not sure if you can see properly, trying to show here how incredibly detailed it is and how incredibly beautiful the colors are. It really looks exactly as it does on my computer screen, and this is of course the thing you're always nervous about, right? When you order something. And obviously make sure that your computer screen is calibrated, and if you don't have a calibrated computer screen, one tip is to look at the photo in your phone as well. Usually phones are pretty well calibrated, or if you have an iPad or something, look at it there as well. And if the colors match and the picture looks good on all your devices, then you're probably good to go. At least if you print with Fracture. So I'm really happy about how this turned out. This is the medium size that they have. So it is 11 by 11 inches. And as I mentioned earlier, these are printed on the back side of the glass. And then they have attached like a foamy cardboard thing on the back here. Really nice and really lightweight, so you don't have to use any like super heavy screws to fasten this. And then there is of course a hole here to hang it on a screw or a nail or something. So really nice design. I really love this. Okay, time for the big print. So this is the large size in square that you can pick on Fracture, and it's 23 by 23 inches. So it is pretty big. I am so happy with how it came out. I think it looks super beautiful. Have a look at the details here. And keep in mind also that this image wasn't really that high resolution. I had actually cropped it quite a bit. Still, I think it looks amazing. And I think my son will be really happy to have this in his room, and I will be really happy to look at it as well. And I will feel pretty proud whenever we have visitors, because I made this photo. And I think this is one of the nice things with printing, that you can, I don't know, it makes your work more tangible. It makes it real to another level than it ever will be if you just post the photos on social media, or even worse, if you just store them on your computer without doing anything with them. I hope you found this video inspiring. Thank you, Fracture, for sponsoring this video, and thank you for providing such beautiful prints. I definitely genuinely love your service, and I will continue to use it even when I'm not doing a sponsored video by you. Please use the link below to get to Fracture, and if you order via the link, that will also give me a small kickback, so it's a great way to support this channel. Thank you for watching, and see you very soon again in another video. Bye bye.